This is Communications, Pan Am style, for the 17th of August.
A man with a two-way radio at the Pan Am Plaza is only one link in the complicated communications chain required by the games. Inside at the media center, an extensive collection of telephones and telex machines awaits visiting reporters. Indiana Bell and its parent company, Ameritech, had the responsibility of making sure the communication system worked. Much of the work was done behind the scenes by computer, but Bell did install about 3,000 lines for the Pan Am Games.
This includes both the integrated voice and data and video system that we set up for Paxi itself for the operations of the games.
This is the video center at Indiana Bell. It takes the video feeds from the different sites and transmits them to the broadcast center, where they're picked up by CBS, Cuban TV, and other broadcasters. This machine, found at about 10 locations around town, helps those whose only method of communication is the spoken word, and that word is foreign. It's a computer that translates 5 languages, so programming it wasn't easy.
Everything's written out in English, and then we have translators that translate the different copy in 4 other languages. And after they are translated, they are entered in on the computer.
A push of 2 buttons can provide directions to game sites and other information in French, English, Portuguese, German, or Spanish, all on a printout. Of course, it doesn't matter how sophisticated the system is if you can't get to the game. But this provides another example of how valuable this system can be. Eric Halverson, WISH TV News 8, on special assignment.
(8:13) Pan Am economic impact.
Jerry Brandt manages a Northside Indianapolis motel. He hasn't had a day off in 6 weeks. His staff is working non-stop to keep up with the rush. Brandt and his people are Pan Am economic gold medal winners.
We're about, I'd say, anywhere from 7 to 8% higher than what I projected we would be at the month. The rest of this week we are sold out every day except for Sunday. Sundays are usually our quietest day, maybe 20 or 30 rooms on a Sunday night, and this last week we did 75. This week we're expecting to do 80 on a Sunday night, which is pretty outstanding.
Across the street from Brandt and his staff is another motel filled with people bringing money to our city. But here, the impact is not as easy to measure. August, says John Eppard, the manager, is always a good month.
I think a lot of our regular clientele has not been here. It's a different type of clientele. We're getting more of the tourists, the Pan Am people that are coming in, where the businessman's kind of avoided the area for a little while. And I think what we're going to see the effect of the Pan Am Games is mainly last July. The month before we had a very good month. And I think this September is going to be very good. It looks very good for us.
But downtown, not far from the IUPUI Track and Field Stadium, sits a tent where vendors going for gold came up empty. Patrice Mumbat invested time and money and says he and about 30 others will be lucky if they break even. In part, he blames the Indianapolis Pan Am Organizing Committee.
They did a lot of numbers and running out of high expectations of tourists and fans and money. And if it is the money, it's not coming to any of the vendors, and you see it all the way around.
Paxi's projections came from an economic impact study done by professors at Indiana University in Bloomington. They theorized that the influx of athletes, support people, and tourists would pour $94 million into the city. After the ripple effect, they predicted the total impact would be $175 million. Even Paxi, however, admits the study was at best a guess.
That study was based on a wide set of assumptions, which assumed X number of people come from X miles away, stay X number of days, buy X number of tickets, and spend X number of dollars.
And human behavior being what it is, people don't always do what studies predict they will.
We're shopping around. T-shirts and stuff, so prices are pretty high.
As far as merchants, no, our sales have really dropped. They haven't increased at all for the Pan Am Games.
But when you talk economic impact, the big word seems to be intangible. That is, though you can't feel it in your hand and you won't be able to spend it,
it will eventually mean more money in your pocket.
It is, say local leaders, the publicity and goodwill the city is getting from the games which will result in the final payoff.
The Pan-American Games has enabled Indianapolis, I think, to get out of the clutter of Midwestern cities. We are unique, we are special, we are aggressive, we are risk takers, we are all the things that I think corporate America looks at when they make decisions.
And I wish I could tell you how much business this will mean for us, but I can just have the sense when we're talking to our competition and also to our clients, they're very jealous right now of what we have to offer. And I don't think there was any way for us to get this exposure without having a major event like this.
The total economic impact of the games will likely never be known. There are no plans now for a follow-up study to see if the $175 million projection comes true. For those who are not making money, PAXI is sympathetic, but says that's the risk of doing business. For the rest, the gold from the games may not be apparent for years to come. David Barris, WISH TV, News 8.
It's the day before opening ceremonies.
And I'm in Toledo. No.
How do you feel about the show?
I feel very comfortable with it right now. I'm very proud of how everything has turned out, from the costume designs to the set design to the volunteers that have helped us on this project, and the kids from this area that are really not dancers that are dancing now.
This is where the show began to take shape, during the individual rehearsals of all the performers. But by the time the main stage, equal in size to 6 football fields, was complete, and the Speedway didn't look the same anymore, the production really started to come alive. 6,500 performers, a 1,000-piece marching band, hang gliders, lots of color, glamour, and much more will make the magic that is America.
Well, with all the groups having practiced separately in several different places around the state, and with only a few practices together here at the Speedway, it might be hard to imagine how this will all come together. Well, imagine no more.
Come on, to the tower!
And even after only a few days of rehearsals myself, I too am beginning to feel comfortable about performing in Disney's biggest production ever. A show of this magnitude would normally cost several $1 million, but Disney is crediting the thousands of invaluable volunteers and donations for helping to stay within its $2.5 million budget.
Without that kind of cooperation and spirit of giving, the show would not happen, and obviously you can't put a dollar amount on all of that.
Disney, of course, is predicting the opening ceremonies will be a success, something the audience and performers will remember for a long time. For now, we anxiously await the big day.
I'm not nervous. I'm really not nervous. I want to do it. I'm ready to do the show now. We've done so much planning. We're ready to get them out on the track and see it actually happen.
At the Speedway, Liz Daly, WISH TV, News 8.
Great, there's an announcement here. 8-3, this is wrestling venue.
Like most gyms in the state, what you see now is basketball, but next week, the University of Indianapolis is the wrestling venue for the games.
Greco-Roman wrestling will be here on the 11th, 12th, Tuesday and Wednesday of August. And then freestyle wrestling will be the last 3 days of that week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
It seats over 4,200, about 25 years old, remodeled along with the addition of the Lilly Center.
Playing floor is down. You come in at ground level and go down to your seats. The baskets can be removed, and there's no obstruction to vision whatsoever. And we have an adjoining Ruth Lilly Center from which will be a warm-up site for the wrestlers, and there's good security control because wrestlers can go from the warm-up site to the playing floor in a lower corridor and never mix with the spectator. Our motto at the university here is education for service, And any time that we can be of service to what's going on in the city of Indianapolis, we're happy to do so.
Right, hold it up like this. Right. You can wave it, you can do what you want. Is it a big flag, little flag? That's a big flag. Medium? Big flag.
While the VIPs practice their lines for the opening ceremonies at the Speedway, the people behind the scenes are still hammering, painting, and cutting. The massive Disney backdrop for the opening ceremonies is almost finished.
It's kind of down to the wire, as it always is, but I think we're in pretty good shape.
Struckman says for the most part, crews are done building the 8-story set and are now concentrating on final touch-up work. This is a culmination of a lot of work for Struckman. The designer has spent some 5 months in Indianapolis supervising this project, and he's had his share of challenges.
I mean, trying to just figure out how to get all these people onto the track, and also within budget. You know, there's you have a certain amount of money that you're given to do it, and that's it. So you have to make a lot of compromises and a lot of changes, and still try to maintain the integrity of the design and the look that you want to achieve.
That look is what he calls Aztec high-tech.
I wanted to do something that was very industrial because the Speedway is such a high-tech, industrial-looking place. I said I'm not going to try to go against that, and I wanted something that would be fun, and so that's where all the color and everything came in, and to try to make it very Disney.
And when the Disney characters are joined by thousands of others putting this show together on Saturday afternoon, Jeff Struckman assures us the set will be ready, even though the paint may just barely be dry. At the Speedway, Rick Dawson, WISH TV, News 8.
Yellow there. This is Pins, Pan Am, 8/13/87.
Would you trade the U.S. swimming pin?
For what?
Well, you tell me. For Pan Am, these are Olympic
Craig
pins here.
Perlow will listen to any offer.
This is a Pan
In
Am
what he
pin,
calls
so I
his
try and
pidgin
trade
Spanish, he'll wheel and deal bilingually.
These are pines olímpicos, pines panamericanos. These are toros diferente, all different.
Can we trade another one?
Sure, sure.
From one Canadian Olympic team pin in
You're right.
'76, Perlow's collection now numbers in the thousands, divided by countries and sporting extravaganzas. It's more than a part-time diversion for a real estate broker from Manhattan.
You can be a lowly quote-unquote volunteer, and you can be trading pins with the president of a major Olympic committee because it's the common ground that the two of you have.
Perlow's made a little money at this, but he swears it's the give and take he's really after.
How many? I trade one for one.
I think we're better now for some of these other people.
Okay.
Perlow's not alone. Pinomania has gripped all of Indianapolis. Everyone's searching for the one pin that'll make a collection complete.
Oh, the one that everybody seems to want the most, I would say, is probably the silver Peru llama, and the Nicaragua and Cuba's.
Can anyone do this? Can even I do this?
Anybody that knows how to speak a language can do this.
Hey kid, you want to trade some pins?
Sure.
What do you got? Jerry Bracken's only 11 years old. Already, he's a mini Craig Perlow.
This one and this one.
This is a pretty good pin, this CBS pin.
So is Mexico.
This is CBS.
So, I'm mainly looking for, like, expensive pins.
So that's it. It's going to be this one or nothing, huh?
Yeah.
You drive a hard bargain. So in the next week, don't be offended if you say hi to someone and they don't look at you, but rather at your lapel. Chances are they're looking to make a trade. Okay, nice doing business with you.
Mike Androvette, WISH TV, News 8.